Hello, gremlins. So, as of today, it is National Coffee Day. So enjoy my very cute black cat magic cup, which fits into the theme of the first book I will be reading in this new reading vlog. Now, this is like a Halloween-A-Thon interlude vlog, so I've just done 2 Halloween-A-Thon vlogs, and this one is going to be just like some books that I have either physically or from the library that I really want to read or have to read to get them back in time. Taking a sip of coffee. So I haven't tied them to a prompt. I'm not going to hunt down a prompt. Some of these are false. One is specifically Halloween. The first one is Halloween. And I'm very, very excited about it. Also, yes, I know I start like all my vlogs in my office, but it's remarkably easy to have you set up in here, especially when I'm like about to start work or I've just gone to lunch, which is when I'm filming this right now. I just took my, I've just started my lunch break, and I wanted to tell you that the book I will be reading is Everything She Does Is Magic. I am so freaking excited about this book. I'm going to tell you nothing until I've read some, because I just am so excited. I really don't want to tell you anything and spoil something by reading the synopsis, but just know we are following Darcy Keller and Anya Doyle, and this is like a Halloween loving town, and this is a sapphic romance, and I am truly just so excited. And it's small, so I think I can finish it today, especially because Monday Night Football is on today, and I read a lot during football normally. This past Sunday we watched football for almost 15 hours, and I was very tired, so I actually slept for part of the games instead of reading. But I am so freaking excited. I have been desperately trying to get this book for weeks, at least a couple weeks. My library never got it. It didn't seem like something they would get quickly if I put in a purchase request. And so finally Krista was like, if you really want the book, you should just buy the book. So I did. I'm just so excited to read this. It's just it looks so cute, they look adorable, and it just sounds like it would be so perfectly a read for me. So this will be the first book. I do need to start making lunch, so this is just a quick, this is the start of the vlog. I think a lot of the books in this will be romance, but I know for a fact that the one I'm picking up from the library is pretty hefty, and it is not Halloween at all. It's just fall. Now, Halloween could be mentioned, I don't know, but it is specifically more fall. So we're gonna read Everything She Does Is Magic first. I'm so excited. I'm actually posting a photo of it on my Instagram today for National Coffee Day. I took a specific photo, but because I'm filming some of these, I have gotten through so many books so quickly for Halloween-A-Thon. Oh, I hear sounds. Is it a cat? Is it my wife? Might be both. I have videos going up, just the timeline of things is super goofy because normally I'm posting closer to real time, but I have 2 videos already prepped that aren't even out yet. By the time you watch this, they of course will be out, but they're just waiting to go out at this point, and I'm just it's so weird to me because I'm not normally this ahead. So yeah, but I'm gonna read this. I'm so freaking excited. I'm also wearing my Freddy Krueger and I'm wearing Elm Street 2 because that one is secretly very gay, and it just felt perfect for this book. I have some sapphic romancy shirts, but I just really want to wear this shirt because I don't get to wear it super often, and still it is so hot. It is supposed to be fall, and it is so warm for fall. I haven't been able to wear sweatshirts. I can occasionally wear a long sleeve shirt, but I can't wear any of them in my office because just my office is warm because it's warm outside and it's really sunny. So I desperately want it to be cooler, but I can't complain too much because I'm doing this fun scare actor thing on Friday nights and Saturday nights, and if it's not cold, it's a little bit warmer, then I don't get uncomfortably cold. So it's so difficult because I'm I want it to be cold and I want to be able to wear a sweatshirt, and then I'm also but I don't want to freeze while I'm at the haunt. But yeah, that's been really fun. That's been in my other videos. You may or may not get word of haunt. In this one, I don't know yet. I can't really take you. I know people do record a little bit just for their own personal stuff, but it's really hard to set an actual camera up. A lot of them are using GoPros, and I just I don't feel super comfortable filming people, even though they have agreed. I think you can sign a waiver that says you will be filmed. I feel awkward filming them. I have brought my camera, so in those other videos you'll see some of the haunt or what I look like at the haunt. I just I don't feel comfortable filming people, especially because there are surprisingly a lot of kids, and I don't want them to wind up on film on accident. On film? Your digital camera. Wow, Catherine. Wow. I am ancient. Let's just pretend you're a camcorder. I guess. Which actually that would be very fun. I do think that would be cool, but I wouldn't know how to edit those. Not that I really edit these either. You'll have noticed that. But I do need to go. I need to make food. So be prepared for some cozy, romancy cuteness. Halloween or fall. Both. Who knows? But I gotta go. I gotta eat. So I will talk to you later, gremlins, when I have an update on this very cute Everything She Does Is Magic book. I'm so excited to read this. I am so freaking excited. So excited. Okay, I gotta go. I gotta go. I gotta eat. Talk to you later, gremlins. Hello, gremlins. Oh my gosh, it feels like summer. It is so warm in my office. Like, it's a little breezier outside, but like this sun, so warm, just so very warm. I am here to update you because it's the end of my workday, and during lunch I was able to read about 100 pages of Everything She Does Is Magic, and let me tell you, this is living up to all the expectations. So I did mention we were following Darcy and Anya. So Darcy's family is kind of in charge of all the Halloween festivities in Fableview. They always have been. Really, it's like a family tradition that they really do all the planning. Their store is kind of one of the major stores for Halloween events. They even have their like own lore they've created about Halloween and the magic of Fableview. And Darcy is kind of stuck being told that she's taking everything over. And what's surprising for her is, while she kind of knew that in the back of her mind, like, oh, they'll want me to run the store eventually, her parents kind of spring on her like, oh, hey, next year you're totally in charge. And she's like, what? Like, she'll have graduated high school, but it seems like they never thought she would go to college or be interested in going to college or doing anything besides just taking over the store from them. Now, we do learn her parents are older. They had her later in life, and she was kind of their like surprise. They like did not expect to have a child, and they had a child, and they're very grateful that they have Darcy, but they keep kind of planning Darcy's life for her without taking into account what she wants. And so at this point, she's kind of like, well, I guess I don't really have a choice. Like, she wanted to leave, she wanted to try something new, and now learning this, and she's just kind of like resigned herself to like, I guess I'm taking over the store. And on top of all of that, she is now kind of in a sort of budding friendship, maybe something more, with Anya. So I'm gonna put this down. Anya is newer to town and has only been there for about a year or so. And that's because Anya's family moves her around a lot. So Anya is a witch. And what happens is, as a witch, the family kind of raises their children differently. They send them around to different family members to kind of hone their craft. So as a child, you are constantly moving until you like come of age. And she will turn 18 this year, and she'll be kind of sworn in to the coven. Now, the issue is she is supposed to pick a human protector, and she lied. She actually told her family that Darcy was a family protector, like had agreed to be her protector, but she has not told Darcy anything. She and Darcy have rarely talked because Anya is actually very uncomfortable around Darcy because she does like her. She's also kind of shy, and we learn that she just kind of has a hard time connecting with people. And also, she's been moving around her entire life without like a stable family unit. So it's just her moving to different people's places and different homes and different schools, and she doesn't really have any control over that. Now, at this point, the issue for Anya is she's like, well, I have to have a protector or I don't get sworn in, but maybe at this point I just don't be a witch anymore. Like, maybe I just don't. Maybe that's it. And so she's kind of resigned herself to like, maybe I'm not going to be a witch anymore, and like they'll just take my powers and unleash on me, and I'll just have to live my life as a human. We do learn that Anya is a mender, so she can like fix things. That's kind of her magic skill. But what's interesting is Darcy is adamant that witches don't exist. Like, it's just kind of the charm of the town. People will believe it, but it's all really sleight of hand or like YouTube video kind of stuff. But Anya is a witch, and Anya can do magic. And so she's like, well, that's so strange, because we do kind of learn something about Darcy's family history that confuses Anya. And Anya's like, why doesn't she think magic is real? Like, shouldn't she know magic is real? Why doesn't she think magic is real? So the two of them are now bonding while working the like Halloween events. It's on an entire month of Halloween in Fableview. There's a constant costume contest like all month long. And Anya has actually agreed to sign up to be on the committee because she's trying to get closer to Darcy so that maybe she can talk to Darcy about being her protector, or, you know, maybe she'll just get closer to Darcy and then she just won't be a witch anymore. She doesn't know. She's just kind of like, I don't know what to do. So it's very cute. They are both grappling with like family expectations, which is very interesting to see. And on top of that, they have just revealed to each other that they think the other is cute in like a casual, unplanned, like whoops kind of way. And it was very sweet, and I am very much enjoying it. The characters of the town are great. Darcy's best friend is named Grace, and we see her a lot. And she is very distrusting of Anya because she thinks Anya is brooding and not someone that she trusts Darcy with, really, because I think she's trying to protect Darcy from what she thinks would be a big heartbreak or like a bad situation or something like that. But it is very enjoyable so far. I'm really loving it. The whole like Halloween tone, it being set so close to Halloween, the town being really immersed in Halloween, is wonderful. I just am very much enjoying it, like a lot. I'm so glad that I got this. I'm so glad that I could make it work and I could get it and I could read it. And I have like 170 something pages left. I am very sure I'm finishing it tonight because of the football game, and I'm just gonna like read during football because I really do want to finish this book. I'm so excited to like keep reading it. But yeah, very much enjoying it. Highly recommend so far. I will fill you in when I do finish it. I am running to the library, but I don't know that I'm gonna bring you because I think I'm just gonna be like in and out. But maybe I will. Maybe I'll change my mind and bring you. But it's so warm. I'm so confounded by how warm it is for, it's almost October. And at this point it will be October. Maybe it'll be cool by the time I post this, but like so freaking hot. Anyway, I'm gonna go. I have to get to the library, and I think that's the biggest errand we're running. Yes. All right. I will talk to you later, Gremlins, when I have finished Everything She Does Is Magic. If I don't take you to the library first. Through the trees, I will find you, I will heal you, the ruins left inside you. I'm still here breathing now, I'm still here breathing now. Free coffee day leftovers. Yes, I sang about that. You'll see me in a sec, but this is leftover free coffee from yesterday. Stewards did free cups of any kind of coffee from noon to close. So I picked this up yesterday so I could have it for work. And I'm using this very fun cup. Enjoy ASMR coffee pouring. Ooh, perfect. Alright, heading back upstairs. Good morning, Gremlins. I really want to wear this sweatshirt today, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep it on. It is cold outside, but like warm in my office. So I don't know. But I'm wearing my fun Ouija sweatshirt that I got like on super sale after Halloween was over last year. So, taking a sip of this coffee. And I'm here to tell you, I finished Everything She Does Is Magic. This was so good. Oh my gosh. So not only do we get the couple like working through being in a relationship and like all of their kind of like secrets being discussed and all of that, Anya also realizes she has friends, which is so wonderful because she's always felt so alone. And this was just very cute. There's a fun, like, make something super scary moment, and just everyone is cute. Like, this was just such a good read. And apparently there's a sequel coming out in 2027 for Piper and Ivy. Now, I don't remember Ivy making an appearance, but I do remember Piper. So I am very curious about what that story will be. It'll be set in Fableview, so I'm, again, not quite sure. But I'm really happy that I got this and that I read it, and it was just like so perfect for Halloween. So I highly recommend. I think other libraries have gotten this because it's a smaller publisher. My library is just not likely to get them. It's normally like bigger publishers, or like this one was not on their radar. It is so loud outside. Really? It is before 9 o'clock, like well before. Anyway. I really love this. I loved Darcy and Anya together. I loved getting to see their parents. I loved getting some history on like Darcy's family in connection to Anya's family. Like, it was just so good. And the connection is like a friendship, just FYI. But this was just so perfect. Like, perfectly Halloween themed, just so sweet. Very much enjoyed it. Now, this next book was not planned in any way. I went by the library to pick up a hold that I knew I had in that is for a fall romance book. Well, I normally like give the new release wall like a little peruse just to see if anything I have holds for happens to be on the wall now, which has happened to me before. Sometimes I'll have a hold in and it just turns out that it's on the shelf, but you can't put a hold request on a book that's on the new release shelf. It's like a whole thing. But they had We Love You Bunny, and I was surprised. And I was like, oh, do I want to read that? I kind of want to read that. Maybe I'll read that. And so I grabbed it. And I've decided I'm gonna read it next, just to see. So it has been not that long. Why are you so loud today, folks? There's like 80 work trucks going by my house. By it. Like, they're just driving. It's so noisy. But I read Bunny for the first time last year. I had never read it, heard a lot of things about it from Katie Colson and from Kayla. But I was like, oh, a lot of people have like talked about the sequel, but I don't feel like a lot of people have read it yet, or maybe they've read it and just haven't posted like videos. I don't know, but I saw it and I was like, you know what? Sure. So I'm reading this next, even though this is like way bigger than Bunny. I don't get spoiled. Oh, nice, nice. 477. That's really big. I feel like Bunny was only like 300. I could be wrong though, it's been a minute. But yeah, we're gonna read that next. So we're still in like a love theme. This is obsessive love, from what I remember. But yeah, we're gonna read this one next. I don't know, I haven't read the synopsis at all. I'm just like, okay. So reading this one next. Krista has court tonight, so I may be reading tonight. We'll see. I feel like this one's gonna take me a little bit because it's so hefty. But I have that. And then I have 2 other books lined up that will happen because one is another library hold and I have to read it. But well, 2 books if this one and the other book, which is also surprisingly long, don't take me a million years. But yeah, so I absolutely loved Everything She Does Is Magic. So I highly recommend you get this for Halloween. It's just like, it's perfect for October. Like really, if you're just excited for Halloween, you could read it anytime, but like perfect for Halloween time. And then we'll move on. Well, and now we're moving on to We Love You Bunny. So I'll try and give you thoughts. I have not read the synopsis. I just know it's like set after Bunny. Like that, I know. Yeah, so I'm gonna read that. See if I can actually get to wear a sweatshirt today or if I'm switching into a t-shirt. I don't know how the dogs are barking. I told you, today's just like a very loud day. I'm gonna go. They're not stopping. It's very noisy in my neighborhood and in my home. So I gotta go. I actually do have to get ready for work. I don't know why they're barking. I'm gonna have to go check. But yeah, that's it for now, Gremlins. I will fill you in when I have read some of We Love You Bunny. Yeah, I'm gonna go. I need to see what they're yelling about. Talk to you later, Gremlins. Hello, Gremlins. So it is right near the end of my lunch break. There we go. That piece of hair was bugging me. And I have an update and it won't be any spoilers. I swear. This is like brand new. But for We Love You Bunny, I am on part 2, which means I have roughly 300 pages to go. So part 1 is setting up everything that's going on. So this is all in the synopsis in part, so it's not a big spoiler at all, again, on the synopsis. So Samantha in the first book is supposed to be who like wrote Bunny, because based on the explanation of what's happening, Samantha has published a book where the bunnies feel they were very poorly represented. And on her most recent book tour, the bunnies take it upon themselves to kidnap Samantha, tie her up, and then proceed to explain themselves to her. So this first part is broken down into 4 separate interwoven sections where each of the bunnies, presented by the moniker they received in Samantha's book, are explaining how they like came to be the bunnies, how what they do began happening. And it's interesting because we get a different personality for each one, and we do get backstory of it and some explanation of each of them, some a bit more than others. So we are learning more about each of these separate bunnies and how those bunnies connect to each other, and then what they have done to possibly create something. And it is interesting because it is being told to us as though we are Samantha. So everything is like, oh, do you understand? Oh, I'm here now. Oh, we're taking turns. So it's very spoken, which this first section I feel like would be a very good audiobook, especially if you could get 4 different people to do the voices, or 4 different, or like someone who could do 4 different voices. I think would be interesting because they do periodically, like, some of the sections are interrupted. So like someone will be talking and then the other person will be like, okay, your time is done now, it's my turn. And that's how we go. And it has been very interesting. I have loved getting a different tone for each of the bunnies because in the original book, they all feel so similar because they're like a unit. And this is giving that more like defined identity for each of them inside of the larger The Bunnies unit. We also are getting a different way of how they're dressing, and that may change, but like they're explaining 2 of them as not dressing the way Samantha said all the bunnies dressed, from what I remember, which I think is interesting. And they are calling out Samantha for taking some creative liberties, but being horrible with making up names, which I thought was very funny. So I am very much enjoying the first part. Now we are shifting to the second part, which is, we've been told is being read to Samantha. So the second part is some sort of collected story or collected account of events. But I'm not going to tell you much about that, except that's all I know, because I haven't read any of it. I just know whose point of view it's from, or like who has drafted it, and the bunnies are reading it to her. But that's it. I don't know how that section is going to go. It is huge. So part 2 starts on page 177 and goes until page like 309. Like, it is massive, when the other parts are much shorter. At least, I mean, I guess the first one is pretty long, but like it's 4 different stories, and then like part 2 is just one collected account, which is I think why I think it is so long. But I'm just like, that's so strange that like the middle section, that second part is so big, when like 3 and 4 are much shorter parts. But I will see once I actually get to it. I will be reading more tonight. I read some before work and then some during lunch, but it was pretty easy to read through, especially because each section was labeled, so you knew which bunny was talking to you, so you could like picture them. And then they explained who they were in case you didn't realize it from the original bunny. But yeah, so I am enjoying it. And also this may be set on Halloween. That's not vital to the plot, I don't think, but in a certain line they were like, oh, do you remember Halloween, this day that we're now also celebrating with you? And I'm like, is it actually Halloween? Is it? Is that why this came out in September? Or like, are we just saying it's Halloween? I don't know. But I can't really tell you much without spoiling it. Like, that was all on the synopsis page. Like, the fact that they're doing this is on the synopsis, so that didn't spoil anything. And like, that's just what I enjoyed from part 1, but I don't know how I'm gonna recap the rest of this book or like talk about it. Possibly. We'll see. I'll find a way to give you thoughts on it. I don't know how many updates you're gonna get. This is chunky, so it may take me a while, and I don't know that I'm gonna finish it tonight. So I will read some more later, fill you in when I get a chance, either tonight or tomorrow. It genuinely just depends how court is for Krista, when she gets home, what we're going to end up doing tonight. I do know that I have some Halloween baking championship, and I also have a new episode to have Halloween Wars. So I may convince her to watch that tonight, which would mean no reading, because we'd be watching that. But I'm gonna go. I gotta get back to work. I was on my lunch break, and I wanted to fill you in before I headed back. But I am enjoying it so far. We'll see as the sections change, because the second section is different in setup and layout and point of view than the first part. So we shall see. Talk to you later, Gremlins. Hello, Gremlins. I do need to go downstairs. It is a little bit after work, and I was reading some, but I wanted to update you because I finished part 2. Part 2 is super long. I understand what it's like trying to convey to me, but it's too long. Just like way too long. So long. Now, admittedly, I did the math, and it is technically shorter than part 1, but part 1 is 3 different people talking, and part 2 is following one person over the course of a number of days. I just think it could have been condensed. I really do. Some of the stuff I just did not care to experience, or could have been removed. I guess it just like wasn't like, again, I understand what it was doing. I just wish it was shorter, because I liked aspects of it. I did like learning about transformation, I will say, without getting into details, but like, I don't know that I needed it to go on for that long, because again, it's a number of days. It does start on Halloween. Oh, they're barking at something. It starts on Halloween, which is great. It does cement the book around Halloween, which is perfect for this vlog, but like, it doesn't, like, it just is so long. We do get a character that I wasn't expecting to get. So Jonah from Bunny does appear in that section as someone's recounting time. And I did think that was interesting. I was cool to have him in there. So I did like that, and I liked seeing some other departments and like other events on campus besides just what the bunnies and Sam were experiencing. Sam was mentioned in that section as well, very briefly, but I still think it could have been condensed. I do, because now we're at parts 3, 4, and 5, and we're already, oh my gosh, what page are we even on? So we're on page 313, and at this point we have 164 pages left in 3 sections, and like, that's close to the equivalent of just one part. So I'm just like, Oh my gosh. But yeah, so maybe I'll finish this today. I would be shocked if I do, but that would be cool. Like, I count it as my last read of September because it is the 30th. We haven't hit October yet. Even though surprisingly you would think we have, because I have read a lot of October books already. But yeah, I'm gonna go read some more with the pups. But I did want to do an update. I thought I would just do up here because sometimes it's hard to film downstairs with like the cats and the dogs. So I just thought I'd film up here. But yeah, I'm gonna go read some more. Though maybe Krista will be home soon and I will be making dinner then. But yeah. Oh my gosh. I was supposed to tell you. I got the coolest email. So I like entered this like goofy kind of contest thing for Joffrey's coffee. Like you like voted on stuff and you'd be added into this like giveaway where you could win free coffee for a year, which is a bag of coffee, like 1 bag of coffee a month for 12 months. And I'm one of the winners. I had to email them like confirmation of where I live and some other stuff, but like I got picked, which is exciting because I love coffee. I love coffee so much and I really like Joffrey's coffee. So now I'm gonna have so much coffee. I already have a ton of coffee. I have Gilmore Girls coffee from Warner Brothers, which is technically Scott, the guy who plays Luke. It's his brand, sold via Warner Brothers. I believe that's how that works. Could be wrong, but I have a ton of that coffee. And I have Joffrey's coffee that I've like stocked up for different seasons. And now I have this and I'm so excited. I don't know when it starts, so who even knows? I might not be getting a free bag until next year, but it's just very exciting. I really enjoy their coffee and I was just like, ooh, free coffee, free coffee. Very, very exciting. But I'm gonna go read some more. See if I can plow through this book tonight. That would be great. It would make me feel very accomplished if I finish this today. But yeah, but I gotta go. So I will talk to you later, gremlins, when I have another spoiler-free We Love You Bunny update. Just that section was long. Real long. All right, talk to you later, gremlins. All right, gremlins, we are in my office. I'm about to make dinner. Krista just got home. It's pretty late, but I finished We Love You Bunny. So it is a lot of tie-up in the last 3 sections, and we get like a return or like I would say a return to part 2 and part 4. And then part 3, we are with the bunnies again, but they're talking as a unit. So they're relaying other events that have occurred that like were occurring alongside events from part 2 and part 4. And so they're sharing that. We are following the same person from part 2 and part 4. Cannot tell you who that person is. And then part 5 is just tying up the novel in and of itself and the like kidnapping. That all gets tied up in there. I feel like this was too long. I'm just gonna say it's too long. Now I do understand part 2 being so long now, following the like tie up in part 5, but the return to it in part 4 gets a little confusing because we are told at a certain point that all the events in part 2 are being written down, and then near the end of part 4 we are informed that the person is no longer writing, yet we're still reading text. So I was like, that works as a conceit until you tell me that's not what they're doing, and then it throws me off. So as soon as they said that, because like the more we got into part 4, I was like, how do I know all of this? I was like, how would I know any of these events at all? And then at the end of part 4 it just kind of does the thing, and I was like, but how would I know the events? How is this possible? So like part 4 took me out of like the story a bit, in that I was like, the whole book being written by, or story being written by someone was like undone a little bit, and I was then confused. Like I was like, okay, it works if I think this, but not in the way it was being presented. So like it can work, but while I was reading it, I was like, wait a minute, no. I have to now think of it as something else. And I was like, ugh, it works, but it felt like mental gymnastics for me at that point, because again, I do think parts could be removed, or I think the parts in part 4 could have been relayed by the bunnies possibly, or maybe set up differently, or like the end of part 4 could have been slightly different. I'm just not sure. Like I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the parts with the bunnies, like the 4 women, well, 4 people. At a certain point, someone says they are fluid and someone says they're non-conforming, so people. I just like, elements of part 2 and part 4 just lost me. And not lost in like a bad sense, lost me in just like, it took me out of what I was reading a little, and I was like, oh no. Which I was worried would happen, because I was like, when we got to part 4 and it returned, the like plot part 2 stuff, I was like, how are you relaying this to me? Like, how is this happening? And then I liked part 5. So I kind of wish, like, parts 2 and 4, there we go, have to exist for part 5. But I feel like maybe they could have been handled as one larger part, or part 2 could have been made smaller. I don't know. I kind of wish part 2 had been made smaller, and then like the ending of part 4 had been a little different. Overall, I had an enjoyable experience. I also am not someone who was as invested in Bunny when I finished it. Like, I enjoyed Bunny, but I was not someone who was like, oh my god, this is the best book I've ever read in my life. Which, that happens. It can happen. We all have our different tastes. I did enjoy Bunny, and I did enjoy We Love You, Bunny. So it kind of makes sense that I enjoyed them about the same. Though, I didn't really enjoy part 1. Like, I was very, very into part 1, and I really liked part 3. And I even really liked part 5. It's just parts 2 and 4, like, really, like, messed me up a little bit. In like length and in how they're tied up. So I don't know. We're moving on to the next book tomorrow morning. I'm gonna go make dinner, but I wanted to fill you in so you know that I'm done with this one. But I'm gonna leave that a surprise to you as to what book we are reading next. I'll do a little morning, like, routine-y kind of thing to get you ready for it, and then I will reveal it to you. So I will see you in the morning when I make coffee, gremlins. Where you lead, I will follow anywhere that you tell me to. If you need me, I'll be there. Good morning, my dear gremlins. Note the mug. Yes, I did attempt to sing part of the theme song. It did not go well. It's totally fine. But I have my mug. I have my Gilmore Girls coffee. I have a coffee weather sweatshirt that I think I'll be okay in today because it's not wildly hot out. And the book that I said I would surprise you with was actually picked out by my wife. So Krista saw this particular book, If It Makes You Happy, at Barnes & Noble. And I remember she was like, oh, this sounds really good. And she thought the cover was cute. And I was like, oh, I think the library has that. And now it's not wild, like, it's $19. We could have gotten it, but because this is gonna sound so bizarre and you can make fun of me later, because this is not a queer romance, I was like, maybe we wait and I'll get it from the library, and if I like it, then I'll let you know, and then we can buy it if you want it. Which, don't ask. I was just like, oh, okay. But it's big, and I like was like, I don't know, what if I don't like it? What if you don't like it? And it's solely, if, I'm not gonna lie, if there were 2 women on the cover or 2 men on the cover, we probably would have bought it. But, it's not. So I got it from the library, which is also a good use of your library, okay? If you're not sure you're gonna like a book, use your library. So, this just looks like Stars Hollow. Just, it does. Like, there's a gazebo, tiny town. They look like Luke and Lorelai, and then that could be Paul Anka. Could be. He could. So, I don't know. I don't super want to read this for, like, the synopsis, because I feel like it will ruin things. But this is set in 1997 in seemingly a small town neighborhood. I have read the brief, like, author's note. So there is an author's note with some trigger warning stuff. And there is a playlist included, which is very fun. So there is all of that. And then, yeah, this says 1997. Though part of this is covered by the library label. Okay, let me just see. Here, I'll just read it back. My next door neighbor Cliff seems to have everything figured out. Small town golden boy, check. Single dad extraordinaire, check. Hot baker forearms, I didn't notice them, I swear. I, on the other hand, don't at all have anything figured out. Trust me. I didn't think taking over my mom's dream bed and breakfast in Copper Run, Vermont was going to be easy. Should be a good place to heal after my divorce, but apparently my scones belong in the garbage with my small talk skills, as pointed out by none other than Cliff. That's all I'm going to read. So that is the setup of this. It does sound very, very cute. And if I like it, I will probably see if I can get it for Krista so that she can read it whenever she wants. She did actually pick up another romance that I'll be reading in this, because that one was like completely something she would love. And I did tell her I was probably going to read it before her, just because I don't have as much like nighttime stuff to do besides the haunt. She has night courts and stuff, and then I read during football and she's not reading during football, so I just get through books faster right now. So I am gonna start with this one, and then we'll see how far I get today, because she does have night court again tonight, but this is hefty. So the book itself is 497 pages. If you count the acknowledgements, it's 500, and that seems really big. So we shall see. I do love this cover. Like, the cover is very cute. But I need to get started with work. I just wanted to fill you in before my work day started. I'm also going to be playing Gilmore Girls as background noise, so you may get a Gilmore Girls clip if I get like a cute scene that I want to include in the video. And I'm going to be drinking lots of coffee. Hi! Do you hear that? That is Binks? I think it's Binks and not Bane. I may have to go see what's going on. He wants my attention. So I am going to go. I do have work, but I do also need to check on that cat. But I will be mainlining Pumpkin Spice Gilmore Girls coffee. What is it called? Fall blend. I think it's their fall blend, but it's pumpkin spice. It's really, really good. So I will very briefly tell you, I have a great deal of Gilmore Girls coffee in my cabinet. So I really like the pumpkin spice one and the Christmas one. The Christmas one is sugar cookie, and it is so good. But last year, I guess, Krista got me some because they like announced it as a big thing. Because they were doing some tour stuff at Warner Brothers, so they were going to be selling it, and then they decided to sell it online. But the winter and fall blend apparently are being discontinued, or were discontinued. So at the end of last year, or the beginning of this year, or something around like that, Krista was like, I'm buying you more of those because they've just announced they're not going to sell more. They're only going to sell the Luke's Diner blend, the Dragonfly blend, and the Stars Hollow blend. And one, we can't have the Stars Hollow blend in the house, really. I did drink it, but it's hazelnut, and Krista's allergic to tree nuts, so I don't like using it because we share a Keurig, and I just don't want her to get an allergic reaction because I made a coffee she's allergic to. The Luke's Diner blend is just standard black coffee, and then the Dragonfly blend is dark roast. It's 2 times coffee, so it's the Talk Fast blend, I believe is what it's called. But she bought extras of pumpkin spice and the sugar cookie so that I would have them when they stopped existing. So I have so many bags. I have so many bags of those 2 specific coffees in my cabinet. So yes, so I'll be drinking a lot of pumpkin spice today because I'm tired and I have the ability. But I need to go now. I'm going to check on my cat. I'm going to start work. But I will update you later, Gremlins, when I have read some of If It Makes You Happy. You also might get a Gilmore's clip in somewhere, but gotta go. Talk to you later.
Every day you have a test. When do you have time to learn anything to be tested on?
Hey, wrong table.
Since when is there a right table?
Since the coffee cake I baked for you and the stupid balloons I blew up are at that table over there.
You blew up balloons for me?
Yep.
Aw, Luke, you old softy.
Hello, Gremlins. I don't know why that one piece, always weird. Please ignore any water filtration system sounds you hear because it is making a lot of noise. Typically does. Just right now it's very loud. I am here. It is a ways after work at this point, but I am on chapter 30, which is 339 pages into If It Makes You Happy. So I have read a lot, and yet somehow not a lot has happened. So in this story, we are in dual perspectives between Cliff and Michelle, who is sometimes called Shelly or Shellfish by her sister. So in this, I did read you the synopsis on the back. So the plot of this is that Michelle winds up going to Copper Run in Vermont to run what was basically her mother's bed and breakfast, named Bird and Breakfast. So her mother, before this book has started, has passed away. And while her mother was married, the father doesn't really have the energy to take it on, and they had determined that after, like, once the mother died, or if the mother chose not to run it anymore, that her younger sister would actually take over. I don't know why a dog is barking. Her younger sister, though, is still in college. Now, it does sound like her sister is older. She's in her, I think we know her, she's like 24. But she has like taken some gap years. She's so close to done, but she does have a semester left. So Michelle is like, that's fine. I will go run the bed and breakfast until you graduate, and then you'll just take over from me. It'll be totally fine. Now, Michelle has a marketing job, or advertising, marketing, kind of same diff in this, job in Seattle. So this is like across the country from where she works. She is still trying to work, but they have given her accounts to someone else while she's on this extended leave because this much time off is not normal. Now she is still trying to participate in work, she is still like doing things, but she is noticing that perhaps it may be difficult to go back if she commits to any longer term, or that it even may be difficult just going back after this like 3-month period. I think it's 3 months. So Michelle keeps saying 3 months, but I feel like throughout this they just keep saying 2 months. And then I get confused because I'm like, but it can't be 2 months still, right? No, it does start at the end of September. So I think it's just throwing me off because she doesn't really count September, I feel like, as a month exactly, possibly. I feel like I'm just like not understanding the month breakdown, because I thought she was leaving probably at like the end of November, but I'm not sure I'm understanding that correctly. Like, I'm really not. So like, just, she's supposed to be gone by like the end of the year is really what I'm getting from this, even though I don't know that that's exactly true. The month countdown is just throwing me off because I feel like they say 2 months every month, and that doesn't make sense because I've read through September, October, and I'm almost done with November, and they still are saying 2 months, and I'm like, I'm so confused. Was it 2 months in October or 2 months in November? So I'm just like thrown. I think she's supposed to be leaving at the end of December though. I think that's what it is, and I'm just like not mathing, which is my own fault. But while she's been here, Cliff is actually her next door neighbor. His house is right next to the inn, and he also is a baker. So I think, yeah, he's a baker. He owns the town bakery. He's a big deal guy. He is divorced and he has 2 daughters. Their names are, why am I blanking on their names? Oh my gosh, Bridget and Emma? It's Emma, right? Emily. Don't know why I thought it was Emma. Emily. So he has Bridget and Emily is 16, and both daughters are from the same wife, but he is divorced, and he was with his ex-wife from the time they were young. He is 33 I think, and he and his wife, his ex-wife, had Emily when they were like teenagers. So he has been taking care of them. His wife actually left, like they got divorced and she left town. She did not want to live there anymore, and she lives in New York City, or around about in there, because she talks about the Macy's Day Parade. But he's been divorced for a while, hasn't dated at all. And Michelle is recently divorced. Her husband announced their divorce at her mother's wake. So everyone knows, like, they're both single. So they are like, she's having a hard time adjusting, which totally makes sense. Very Hallmark, very big city woman, comes to the small town and is having a hard time working in a small town environment. And Cliff offers to help her. He's like, hey, I'm gonna help you with like people lessons and baking lessons, because she doesn't really quite know how to be customer servicey. She's never, sorry, I knew I was gonna cough. She's never really had like a customer service job, so she's not like attuned to take over the inn. So he's helping her like get more comfortable being basically a bed and breakfast owner, and with baking, because her mom apparently used to make certain things for breakfast all the time, but she's a terrible baker. So he's helping her with that. Now, they spend a great deal of time together. Also, the dog, his name is Rocket, and what I love about him is that Michelle does voiceovers for him. So she'll talk to Rocket, and Rocket will respond to her, like in her head. Like she is having a full-on conversation with the dog, and I love that because I do that with the dogs and the cats. I think that's just a thing people do. Maybe not, but I do it all the time. But they have moved there, trying to get used to being in the area. It is very Stars Hollow. The town is very up in everyone's business. They're very into the holidays. Like Halloween is a big deal, huge deal, epic deal. Thanksgiving, also a pretty big deal. We're apparently getting Christmas because there's a section called December. So and they also mentioned Christmas is a big deal too. So any festive event is festive. So very Stars Hollow, very Stars Hollow. I need to put this down. So for this, when I hit the 200-page mark, that is about the point that Cliff and Michelle realize they actually have feelings for each other. They like each other, little crushes. There is a kiss before page 300, and I will not tell you what event occurs, but they kiss, and immediately something truly awful happens that results in the two of them being like, we cannot be together. Immediately. Like, they are punished in this book for kissing in the plot. And I was like, no, why? Why are we doing this? Like, I understand, like, because they have like a kiss interruption moment where they like almost kiss and it's very cute, and then that doesn't happen. And then they do kiss, and then immediately something horrible happens. And I was like, I do not like that as a trope. Because it happens a lot. Like, it also happens in like a lot of queer content that I read where like they'll like kiss and then something monumentally awful happens. So I was kind of like, I don't like that as a trope. I don't want a bad thing to happen. So like, I'm not telling you what the bad thing was. I'm just telling you they kiss, bad thing happens. Immediately they're like, we cannot date. I'm like, okay, this is a slow burn. That's fine. I am now on page, like, I only have like 140 pages to go in this book. They have just now considered the fact that maybe they could get together. Like, we've gotten back to the point where they're like, we do indeed like each other, but should we date? And I'm like, my goodness. I have never read a book. I've never read a romance this long, ever. This is the longest romance I've ever read. It is so mind-boggling to me that it is this slow. And part of that is I mentioned that there's an author note at the beginning. And in that author note, there is a list of content warnings, which I appreciate. What is odd to me is the content warnings are not in order of appearance. So they mention, the very first thing they mention is descriptive sex scenes. We have not gotten a sex scene. And again, I only have 140 pages left. No sex scene has occurred yet. Explicit language, there have been some curse words. I will grant you those occurred throughout, so you could have listed that one first. Death of a parent from heart attack off page occurred before the book started. So I don't know why that's not first. Grieving of a loved one. I'm not going to get into the rest of these. Oh, divorce. We already knew that. And then cheating. It does specify off page and not main characters. It just, all of these content warnings, many of them occur before the book occurs or in the prologue. So I am very confused as to why descriptive sex scenes is not last. Because if you'd put it last, I would have expected them deeper in the book. Because a kiss is not a sex scene. So I'm discounting that as descriptive sex scene because it was not a sex scene. It was a kiss, solely a kiss, one kiss. So it's just bothering me because they're not in alphabetical order either. So I'm like, why did we not list that one last? That's all. That's all I want to know. I just want to know why they're not in appearance order is what bothers me a little. If we're not doing alphabetical, then it should be in appearance order. So I know to be on the lookout for the following things as I go. Do not tease me with descriptive sex scene as though your book opens with a night of romance, because it didn't. And I have yet to get a night of romance in this book, which is just throwing me off. If you love a slow burn, that is great. I am fine with a slow burn if it were shorter. This is, I feel so like committed at this point to finish, but I'm also like, this is taking forever. Like, y'all, come on, you're grown adults. Like, get it moving. Get it going. Go. And I understand everyone's coming from a hurt place. Both are divorcees, but still, a little hustle would be nice. But overall, it is set in 1997. The tone of that is great. The references are great. All of that is wonderful. I am enjoying the like setting, the year selection, the characters. I just don't understand why descriptive sex scenes was listed first when I have yet to get one. So we're just waiting. Just waiting. Eventually it has to happen. It's in the content warnings. It has to occur. But I don't know when at this point. I sent my sister a text and I was like, is it happening in the last chapter? Because then it's scene. So there has to be more than one, right? I was like, are they not getting together until the very, very end? Like, the endest of the end? I don't know. They have to get together. They definitely have to get together. You can't not have them get together, right? At this point, I'm guessing, I'm questioning everything I know. But yeah, so I'm gonna finish this, hopefully tonight. Krista does have court, and it's not a difficult read, so I'm getting through it pretty quickly when I've had time to actually read. So yeah, that is the goal. The goal is to finish this tonight. I am also going to drink this Haunted Hayride. It's a lovely cider. I don't know if I want to put it in a cup. I'm debating if I want to put it in a cute cup. Probably not, I don't think. Just because I don't want to wash the cup now that I think about it. But I'm gonna read more, hang out with the dogs, put Gilmore Girls on. I've been playing Gilmore Girls like as background noise like my whole day because it felt very like in theme. It was getting me very in the like zone of 1997 tiny town, even though I don't think the show is not set in 1997, but you know what I mean. So yeah, I'm gonna go take the cider, hang out with the dogs, and plow through this book. And I'm gonna let Krista know that I want to finish this tonight, because then she'll watch football stuff so I can read more, should she get home earlier than I expect. But I'm gonna go. I will talk to you later, Gremlins, when I have finished, if it makes you happy, because I would like to finish it and know what and when our characters are getting together, because they have to, right? They have to get together. This is a very long update. I'm gonna go. Talk to you later, Gremlins. Hello, Gremlins. It is after dinner, and after Chris got home from court, and I have finished If It Makes You Happy. So there are, I'm gonna say 2.5 sex scenes in this. They do occur. After I finished talking to you, not too far in, there was one, then there was a half a one, and then there was another one. So there are sex scenes. If you do not like spice in your books, you could skip them. There's a lot of buildup, so you would know, and you could just skim them. I know there are some people who like 0 spice in their books, so you could skip them. You really could, and it would be very easy. Overall, there's very limited spice in this book because it does not occur until like the last 75%, I feel like. The slow burn is very sweet. The ending did choke me up. The like big grand reveal of love. That was very sweet, very cute, very 1997, very rom-com, which was adorable. The epilogue, I will tell you, is set 8 years in the future, which was a big jump for me, and from Rocket's perspective, which I thought was fun. And maybe that's a spoiler. I don't know. I'm not gonna tell you what Rocket tells you. It was just cute. There is a bonus chapter in this version. I don't know if it's all versions, but this had a bonus chapter. I don't know if the bonus chapter is a must read. It is from one of the daughters' perspectives, Brittany, who is not named Bridget. I'm pretty sure I called her Bridget. From Brittany's point of view, but it's not set during the book. It's just like a random thing. It was fine. It just did not feel necessary to me. And I added a few pages, but I would just say read it if it's there. It doesn't add anything to me, really. But overall, did enjoy this. It is very slow. I am just used to books being a little faster, so this was a very slow build. Very slow romance. But still, good. Did enjoy it. The next book for this vlog is another one my wife picked out. She actually bought this one. So this is Fall I Want by Lyra Parrish, which is a billionaire romance. It is like billionaire goes to cozy town, falls in love with girl in cozy town, from what I understand. I'm not even reading you the back because I think that's the premise, but I'm not going to start this till tomorrow. I'm probably going to see if Krista wants to watch a movie tonight. She is doing some football stuff, but I know tomorrow is a football night, so we'll be watching football, which means I'll have plenty of time to read. But tonight she's doing some like stuff. Apparently her fantasy football league is like popping off in trade requests and like all this stuff. But I probably won't read this till tomorrow. But I will reiterate. I know I just said but like 80 times. I do think I'm gonna get this for Krista, but I might wait until it goes on like sale because I feel like it's big. Like I feel like 19 is a lot for a paperback, and I think that's why. Yeah, this was almost the same price. I feel like I thought this was the better buy because it has like all the details and stuff. And she was like, oh, I really want to read that one. So I'm reading that one next. I did tell Krista I think we'll pick up an actual physical copy of If It Makes You Happy at some point because I do think she'll like it. It just like, I have time because she's always she's like really busy this month. And then into the holidays, she's sometimes extra busy just because she winds up with like extra court dates to cover for people. But yeah, so we shall see. I will say this does go into December, which I didn't anticipate because it is like a fall romance, which threw me off a little bit, but part of the book does take place in December. Just so you know. So it's not all fall. I don't know why you keep focusing. Oh, the dolls. I was like, why are you not focusing on my face? It's because the dolls, they have faces. But yeah, so I'm gonna go for tonight. I will see you in the morning, and I'll still be using my Luke cup. I probably won't bring it with me to make coffee tomorrow, but we'll be reading Fall I Want. Depending how quickly I get through that, I have a book that came in that doesn't really fit the theme of this that I might toss in just because I want to read it, or I might just read it and not vlog it. I haven't decided, but I'm gonna talk to you later, Gremlins. I will see you in the morning. Good morning, good morning. It's great to stay up late. Good morning, good morning. I'm very tired. And Chloe's barking. So you're not getting a full song. That was just a made up little song. My knees don't want to light today. You can do a little candle. You can do a little candle. Oh goodness. So tired. Come on. Did you light? Did we? There we go. Everything is lit. This is a Bath and Body Works pumpkin candle, if you can't tell from the little tiny pumpkins. Oh goodness, Scribblets. So sleepy.
Well, I bet she's coming too.
Hey, and no more inappropriate lesbian references, please.
Hello, Gremlins. My goodness, it has been a wild day. It is officially after work now, and I do have a book update for you. Also, I had to commemorate that moment of Gilmore Girls history because it's so random. I have been playing Gilmore Girls all day. Well, on and off all day as background noise. Oh my gosh, today has been wild. Work was goofy. I had to run an errand during my lunch break, which is always like extra goofy because I have to like leave, come back, do all this stuff. So like it was a wild time, but here we are. Hi, it's after work. Things have gone well. I have run the errand I needed to run. Though now we have another errand we have to run tomorrow. Just goofy nonsense. But I did have an update for you on Fall I Want, which I think I showed you yesterday as the next book. I'm about halfway through. I read some like before work officially started, and then even though I was running errands during lunch, I was able to read some. So I managed to knock some stuff out, but I didn't really give you a synopsis, I don't think. I believe I gave you a very vague one. So in this so far, it's dual perspectives, like the last book, but we're following Autumn and then ultimately Zane. So on the back, it refers to him as Zane, but throughout part of the beginning of the book, he's referred to as Alexander or Alex, but we then learn Zane is his actual real name. So if you're reading this, his name changes at a certain point in the story, and the chapter headings like do that so that you know who you're following still, just as a heads up, because I was like, wait, what? Because I was reading it and I was like, oh, I thought it was Zane, but I was like, okay, maybe there's a third POV or maybe something, but it's a name change. It's just a name change for the sake of the story. So in this, we are following Autumn and ultimately Zane. And so the reason that, just know that Zane is often referred to as Alexander or Alex throughout the book, because he goes by both names. So I don't know why we didn't just refer to him as Alex or Alexander throughout. Like, I think we could have just called him Alexander for all his chapter headings, but that's just a personal opinion of mine. Maybe they didn't want it to be Autumn and Alexander on the back. I don't know. But Autumn has always wanted to be a writer, but she is currently working at this coffee shop she's worked at off and on kind of for forever. This town is like, Cozy Creek is like her hometown, it sounds like, and she had worked there. She did go to school. She also apparently went to Europe where she got really good at making coffee. So she makes coffee in, or at least I think that's what they said. She got really good at making coffee, and she continues to work at this coffee shop, and she's kind of installed on her writing. She does want to be a romance writer, but she has consistently had dreams about someone she calls Mr. Dreamy. And she's just like never written anything about him, even though her friends are like, ooh, you should just like write about him because he sounds incredible. And then Alexander / Zane shows up at the coffee shop and actually acts like a giant ass, and is rude and kind of prickly. And then the awkward thing is that Autumn realizes that Alexander / Zane looks exactly like how she has been picturing Mr. Dreamy for years. She's like, they even sound the same. Like, this is so weird. And then the two of them wind up spending more time together through various incidents. There's a minor break-in situation, and then some like casual accidental meetups, a number of like tropey situations where ultimately Alexander is like, we should be friends. Like, I want to get to know you more. But that then merges into fake dating. So we do go from kind of like enemies to friends, and then friends to fake dating, which I was not expecting. I'm not going to get into the details of all of that, but just like know that's the whole thing. But the two of them are falling for each other because this is a romance. So like the fake dating is kind of blurred. We do get a very solid element of consent that is discussed. There is a situation where both of the characters are inebriated and considering doing something, and things do not go as you would expect sometimes in a romance novel, but know that like the consent is handled very well. I am enjoying it. It is still steamy. Like there have been a couple kiss scenes. There was like an event for each character that occurred. Won't get into details, but like separate kind of moments. And there's been like some drama with Autumn's ex showing up. Now this book is definitely setting up stories, and I told Krista this because I did tell Krista a bit about this because she was really excited to read this, and she is very excited. She thinks she'll really enjoy it. I was telling her it reminded me a bit of some like Kindle romances I've read where things are like set up in advance for previous books. Like we've met a number of people already who are eligible and single, and you kind of can guess that they will be the focus of later books. There are already 3 other books ready to go and listed as ready to be published, like coming out soon. So I think it will follow those characters. On top of that, there is sort of this like faded element consistently coming up. Like Autumn has dreamed about someone who looks exactly like Mr. Dreamy. Mr. Dreamy, or I mean, Alexander/Zane has a sister who has insisted, I think you're gonna find the love of your life. And we have this like witchy psychic element that occasionally comes up, like with people talking about love spells or like visions or stuff like that, which I wasn't expecting. It does kind of work, but I don't know that we like need it. It just sort of, it kind of speaks to an almost fated mate sort of setup, which is very common in like paranormal romance, but I wouldn't have expected it in this exactly. But it is working. They're kind of joking about it, or like saying they want to delve more into the idea that maybe they are supposed to be together, but maybe not, like they don't know. So I am having a good time with it. I do anticipate a very standard 3rd act breakup to appear. I don't know that it will, but like the formulation of the story so far is giving me that like we're gonna get a standard 3rd act breakup and all of that jazz. Whereas not all romance books I've read recently have had that. So I am feeling like that's what's gonna happen. We do know there are going to be some like, there's at least a trip coming up. But I'm not, what month is that set in? So far we've really only been in like September, October, like it's very fall. So everything in it is fall so far, but there's like a bonus chapter that may not be set in fall, and the book may move outside of fall eventually. I'm just not sure. What did a cat just do? There's a very loud sound. I am enjoying it. It is reminding me a lot of some, again, this is not like a dig at the book. It's just the layout of the book is really reminding me of some Kindle romances I've read that did like set up their other books by introducing a lot of other characters, making you very connected to those other characters, setting up that those characters are also single. And then we also have this going on in that, and like the friends are very intimately involved in the events of the book. And I, again, am enjoying it. I think Krista might enjoy this one a little bit more than me, and I only say this because I was really enjoying If It Makes You Happy. I just thought it was slow. This technically is a bit more fast-paced, in that they have already decided to fake date more quickly. That book didn't rely on fake dating. There was like, should we date or should we not? So like, they are different books, but I feel like I did sort of like the town more in the other book. And that's not anything against this book. It's just, I think I like that town a little bit more. And the problem is, I don't typically read straight romances back to back, and so I'm comparing them a lot, which is not intentional, but I keep doing it. And I preferred the male love interest in the other book because he didn't do that thing where he opens with like negging, and I hate that. And so like as soon as he did that in this, I was like, ooh, am I not gonna like you this whole book? Like, am I just not gonna like you? And he has grown on me. I do like him, but I hate when they open with the guy being like very negative for kind of no reason. And it really was just to get like a rise out of our main female character. And I was like, I don't like that. I don't like that. Not a fan. And Mason didn't do that in the other book. Was it Mason? Right? Cliff? No. I'm giving him a fake name. It's definitely Cliff. Cliff is the name of the guy in the other book. Oh my goodness. But yeah, so that's the only thing working against it. Like, I probably should have read a book in between them and maybe I wouldn't compare them as much. But again, still am enjoying it. Did tell Krista I think she'll like the other one too. So at some point I'm going to get that one for her. We just already own Fall I Want, so I don't know if she'll be reading that before she gets to that one. So I'm kind of just like waiting a little bit to get that one. But yes, so eventually I will also buy that one for her. But yeah, I think it's it for now. We have a ton of errands to run still too. Krista has another dentist appointment tomorrow, and so I need to get supplies to make that soup that I made it in a different video, but she won't really be able to chew. So I need to get the stuff so I can start the soup tomorrow morning. And then I'm gonna have to like blend it during my lunch break so that she can eat it, because I have the haunt tomorrow. So I won't be eating dinner like with her. I'll be eating later. So yeah, so we have that. We are going on a date night because this is the first night neither one of us has anything going on. So we're having date night tonight. And then we also have some errands we have to run. It is so noisy outside. Anyway, but I gotta go because we gotta go. So I will talk to you later, gremlins. Possibly, really, I think just about the end of Fall I Want. Or if I have something big that I want to talk about without spoiling it. But I do have to go. So I will talk to you probably tomorrow, gremlins, maybe tonight. I'm not sure, but I'll talk to you at some point. Hello, I'm making soup. I'm not walking you through this process. I'm just making soup. It's vegetable broth and potatoes and onions and some other stuff. Also, Smallville is playing behind me and it's very loud. Krista has her dental thing today, so I gotta get this done like ASAP, because if I don't get this done, she doesn't have lunch. So we are pulling the things. Very full crock pot of soups. Very full crock pot of soups. And broth. I use vegetable broth. This is technically vegetarian. I make this all the time. I made this in another video, and you can't really see it because it's just potato soup in a crock pot, but I was letting my mom know about it because this is actually a recipe. So this is a combo recipe. This is something she used to make. That should be enough. Because she had this like crock pot hash brown soup recipe, and she used to make it around Lent a lot. And so we would have that. I don't want to add milk. I think I could add milk. The actual recipe calls for heavy cream and I never use it. I'm gonna have to stir this. Maybe I'll add a little. Stir. Smooth. But she used to make it a lot during Lent. And the Star Wars recipe that I really like is not technically a crock pot recipe. It's for tomato soup, so I call this tomato soup typically. But Krista wanted it really badly because it's like one of her favorite things that I make. When I hurt my hand, like I was recovering, like I could use my hand, but it was like gauzed all the time. And so the problem was I couldn't really cut potatoes, and Krista can't really cut potatoes because she also has a hand injury to her left hand, mine's to my right. And so she wanted me to make the soup, and I was like, oh, there has to be a way I can make it without having to peel and cut potatoes a million times. And there is. I just used a crock pot. All right, that is in. I feel like I need to do like a big scoop. I'll show you this glob of potato in a sec. I also desperately need to make coffee. The night shift person was out last night, so I have a bunch of stuff I have to catch up on this morning, which is a little stressful, but I will make it work. But yes, so fun and exciting for you. Here is soup. And I need to get it plugged in. I don't think it needs milk. I think we're good because she's gonna want cheese in it anyway. But I have to get this plugged in so it starts cooking. And then I'm gonna make coffee. So I will talk to you later, gremlins. I don't have any book updates for you. But I'll talk to you a little while later once I've had coffee. La 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 la. Hello, gremlins. I do have a book update for you. I have coffee even though this is the start of my lunch break. I've made a lot of coffee. I blame the Gilmore Girls. Anyway, I'm taking a sip. And I can officially say that I have finished Fall I Want. And my God, okay, so I will say this couple, very cute. I did inform you there was fake dating. I will say the fake dating does not stay fake for very long. So like if you don't really like fake dating as a trope, you can pretend they're not even doing it. Like it's so brief that I was like, I don't know, the fake dating is actually happening. Also I feel like the being negative to like the enemies kind of aspect, that is also very brief. So really this is just a romance. The trope is they just like each other. Now, the description of this author's work is that, what is it? Is it Hallmark style? Yes. Spicy Hallmark-like romances. I'm gonna let you know that from the last time I talked to you, I have experienced so many things in this book. Very spicy. Hallmark would not even like deign to touch this. I'm talking like, there are so many scenes that are spicy that I lost count. There, an incredible amount. There are sex scenes at events, like in almost public places. Like I was just like, what? Just so much. It goes from like cute kind of flirty dating, where again, I told you, it's almost like fated mates in this. They're really into like these two are supposed to be together forever, for all time, throughout this whole book. They're like, once they are together, there are some issues that crop up, but it's never the two of them that are having the issue. It's outside things that are popping up that they are having to like deal with in a sense. But like, y'all, there is so much happening in here where like, I really hope these two were very hydrated. So many scenes. Like I have read books that are specifically just supposed to be about sex. Like I have read things that I knew would only be sex. And even those, I think, paled in comparison to this book. So don't let this like cutesy little cover trick you. This is spice. Like, going from If It Makes You Happy, which did have 2.5 sex scenes, this was like HBO not even, no, what was it? Pay-per-view? Like, you would have to watch this at night. Like, in the dark. While people weren't around. Is what I'm telling you. Hi, loud car. I'm sure they are very well written. There were just so many of them that at a certain point I was like, I am going to... I did slightly skim some of the sex scenes because I was just like, this is nonstop. Like, it just like kept happening. There was like very little break between them and I was like, I personally am good. You two are you have great chemistry in all areas and you continue doing what you were doing. I do not need to know all of the intimate details of the scene that we are at this point. Cause I was like, so much is happening. You just keep going. It's like the Energizer Bunnies in here. Again, it is, I would say, if you are a fan of like, actually, the problem here is I don't read a lot of straight romance. I did at one point read the Suki Stackhouse books when I was far too young to be reading those. And I will say there's more sex in this than there were in those books. And that's saying a lot. Like, by comparison, more sex. I feel like a lot of women will really like this. I do. I think a lot of people will just like this. I'm sure there are men, women, non-binary folk, gender fluid people who read a lot of romance where the couples are straight. This is a lot to take in and you should not read this on public transportation, though no one would know that you were. It looks very cute. It's got cute sprayed edges, all that jazz. You may not want to read this at work, public transit, around your family. There's just a lot in here. Like, I was just like the whole time. Like, once we hit the point where they had decided they were going to have sex, I was like, oh my, oh. And I feel like I'm not a prude, but it was a lot. Like, I was like, oh. Like, I know I was complaining in the other romance that there were not enough. Like, she had said, like, descriptive sex scenes. And I was like, where are the scenes? What are we talking about? We're, like, very far into this book. This had all of them. I don't know if they stole them from that book and put them in here. I'm kidding. But if you want a very spicy, I would say this is very spicy. I have read queer romances and they have had descriptive sex scenes. And I would swear to you there were fewer of them than in this book. But maybe I'm wrong. I mean, I read a novella that was mostly sex scenes. And I did, like, I enjoyed it, but I feel like at a certain point, there's just so much happening in here that I was like, oh my goodness. Oh gosh. So yes, highly recommend if you want something very spicy. And like the spice starts pretty soon into it. I mean, they hint at stuff about a third of the way through the book. And they actually, like, once they actually decide, it is nonstop, constant, almost, I would say. So just know that going in, because I know there are some people who do not want any spice in a fall romance or in a romance at all. Some people prefer fade to blacks and they don't want to see any of it. Some people want like 1 or 2 and they're good. Just know this is very, very spicy. At least to me, the amount of it from the point that it started. I was like, this would be a lot if you were not expecting it. Because I wasn't really expecting it. Like, I was expecting like a couple, and I was kind of expecting them in the vein of the previous book, and these are far more detailed, I will say. So there is that. We are ending the vlog with Fall I Want. And I would recommend if you're looking for a very spicy romance. Now, again, I could be misleading you on this, but I feel like it's a lot. Like, the other cozy ones that I've read were shorter than If It Makes You Happy, but would have like 2 to 3 scenes, some of which were very detailed. Some were not, but like those would have 2 to 3. And I would say that's about what I was expecting. There are far more than 2 to 3 in here. So I don't know. It is up to you. I would say, and this is not meant as a bad thing, if you like a lot of like Kindle Unlimited romance, I feel like you would like this one. And I say that because when I've read some Kindle Unlimiteds or like the plots of Kindle Unlimiteds, there are some that seem to follow kind of a pattern, or like the idea is there's going to be a lot of spice and then the plot is really just like a happily ever after plot with spice. I would say if that's what you're looking for, this is what this is going to give you. And I will say, I feel like there's not a ton of drama. So if you really just want like cozy, cute, you know they're going to get together, it's all pretty happy overall, again, perfect choice. Just was not exactly what I expected. And this may be because I was slightly judging the book by the cover, because they look so young on the cover. And they're not old in any way, but like they look like high schoolers almost on the cover, maybe 20 somethings. Like, they just look very young on the cover to me, mostly him. He reads very young to me in this illustration. And I don't know, even though it said like spicy I think the Hallmark like threw me, because Hallmark is very chaste. So to me, if you're doing like a spicy Hallmark, I'm not anticipating that many scenes. But again, it does say spicy, so maybe I'm just bad at gauging things. But yes, so that is the vlog. What did I read? Hold on. What did I read? Oh, Everything She Does Is Magic is probably my favorite book of this vlog. Then I read We Love You, Bunny, which is not exactly a romance at all, but it has love in the title. And that was a fine time. I enjoyed Bunny, but Bunny is not like my favorite book of all time. And I watched a video where Kayla read it and talked about it. And I kind of agree with her. Like, I enjoyed some of the prologue stuff in that, but like, I don't know that like I needed that book. I genuinely only picked it up because it was on the new release shelf and I was kind of surprised to see it. And I was like, well, it's here. I'll just get it. I watched Katie Coulson's. If you loved Bunny, you should watch that, because she loves the Bunny universe. Like, she's very excited. And that video was very, very wonderful to watch. Just like, oh, I need another sip of coffee. Hold on. But again, I am not as dedicated to Bunny, the seemingly now like series. I may or may not read the 3rd one. They have said there's going to be a 3rd one. I don't know if I'm called to read the 3rd one, really. Maybe I will, maybe I won't in my library, who knows. Then I read If It Makes You Happy, which I think a lot of people will very much enjoy. I think it will. I do think it's a bit long, and I do think it takes them a very long time to get together in that one, but I do think the setting is still very good. And so like, I would recommend that one. And Fall I Want, I would recommend if you really want something spicy. Like, you are like not looking for drama really, you just want spice and a cute couple, and there you go. So those are the 4. I am gonna finish my coffee. I should eat something because I have the haunt tonight. I will also be changing and doing my makeup. You're not getting any of that. I've had that in other vlogs. My makeup is roughly the same at this point, and I wear the same thing when I go there so I can get dressed very quickly in my costume. But I think that is it. Oh, food for date night was good. We had to run a bunch of errands after date night. I just thought I'd fill you in very quickly. The only awkward thing is they sat us by a family that was not having a good night. People were very irritated with each other, and they were like fighting consistently until they left. And I was like, oh, it was just not, the date itself with my wife, lovely. The fact that we were so near a table where I was like, ooh, are they gonna be okay? Like the two of us were like secretly texting each other. I don't know if you do this with your partner, but we were like texting each other and like vaguely talking about other things. Like Krista was just like kind of saying football stuff, and I was like, oh yeah, at work. But we were like texting like, is everything okay with her? Like, but they left before we got all of our food, so I guess that's nice. But then we had a bunch of errands we had to run, so we did that. But yeah, and then we came home, we relaxed, we watched just random TV, and hung out, and yeah. So I think that's it. This is a very long ending clip, sorry. But I'm gonna go. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of me, please subscribe. We will be moving back into Halloween-A-Thon for the next vlog. I already have those books pulled out. I'm probably gonna read a book outside of a vlog. I may talk about it in the next one. I had a Libby hold come in, but it didn't really fit this theme. And I am just gonna like casually read it on my Kindle. Well, my iPad that I pretend is a Kindle. And I may toss it into the other video. I don't know. I haven't decided. But yeah, it just didn't fit this at all. So, I think that's it. Can we tell that I can't remember? Like, subscribe. Oh, I'm also on Instagram at ClefGoEverAfter. And I think that's it. I don't have anything else. If you have fall romance suggestions, please let me know, because I know Krista is also very interested when she gets time in like reading some more fall romance, or like romances you like. Please feel free to share, and I will pass them along to her. But I think that's it. I will see you in the next one, Kremlin.